Welcome to the What's Your Truth podcast, the show that not only showcases the best of independent artists, but also explores what inspires them, what drives them, and what they consider their fundamental purpose as an artist to be. Today on the show, we have Jess Tzimas. One of the most dynamic guitarists on the planet, Jess began his lifelong love affair with the guitar at the age of 13 when, while living in Athens, Greece, he took up study of classical guitar. A couple of years later, he graduated to electric guitar, and as Jess says himself, he had his passion. Fast forward a few years, and Jess has played a variety of venues and festivals around the world and opened for bands including the Scorpions, Whitesnake, Winger, Dokken, and more. In 2007, he joined rock legend Kip Winger on a special project, and after moving to Los Angeles, he was awarded the prestigious ESP Guitar Scholarship to the world-renowned Musicians Institute, from which he graduated in 2012. Over the last decade and a half, Jess has toured and played with a plethora of bands and projects, including Chrome Public, Lit Soul, Thaddeus Gonzalez, Stone Breed, and his current project, Boots, Bailey, and the Boys. With these bands, he's graced the stages of some of the most iconic venues on the market, including the Whiskey A Go Go, Viper Room, and the Key Club. And he's worked in some of the most exclusive studios on the planet, including Sunset Sound, Titan Sound, and the granddaddy of them all, Capitol Records. And then there is the other side of Jess, the producer. He has taken all of his music and songwriting know-how and is now working with other artists to help them find their sound and get the proverbial let out. Jess moved to Arkansas in 2021, and upon arrival, he opened Mountain View Studio, where he makes himself available to artists far and wide to meet their every music production need. In other words, Jess is a badass around the clock and in every facet of the music industry, and it's an honor to have him on the show to pick his brain a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Jess Tzimas.
Hey, Johnnie.
Hey, how you doing, Jess?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for the big introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thanks for being great. You made it easy to write, man. It kind of wrote itself.
No problem.
Well, shall we roll into it?
Sure.
Great. Here's my first question. How did you decide you wanted to become a musician?
I guess it was effortless for me. It was very easy decision. I mean, I didn't think about it. I just felt that music, was well, very special for me. Like very. I knew that I'll have a passion for music. I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't play the guitar, but I had my first guitar, and it was so magical for me. You know.
Yeah.
Then I started doing lessons, and I learned. I guess I'm still learning, of course.
Yeah, and that's funny because that's something I've noticed about the artists I've interviewed is we're constantly learning, even when you're what people would
Yeah,
consider to be top of your game. You never stop learning stuff.
definitely. I mean, every day, every day. Recently, like you said, I moved here in Arkansas, and I started playing with the bands. They're very talented, and but it was um, uh, first experience for me to play with a little different style. It's still rock, but it's more like country rock. Um, and I totally enjoy it. Because it's different.
Yeah, no, it definitely, and that's a thing too. I've heard. I mean, I've even heard, like, I think John 5 does this. Is he intentionally,
Yeah,
when he's in like a metal band, when he practices, he'll practice a totally different genre just to keep himself fresh. Like having that different perspective, it keeps it new and exciting and fun for you.
totally. Yep.
Definitely. So, what was the first experience you remember having with music?
You mean like a live show or
Anything at all, like your first memory of music in any way, shape, or form.
I guess it was very early. I was about 11 years old, and um, I had some cassettes, back then, cassettes with rock and roll, or like old school rock and roll, like Elvis and Little Richard and all this stuff. And I was listening to this kind of music, and I totally enjoyed. I was listening for hours, and I guess that was the first thing that motivated me to start playing music. It took me a couple of years, of course, until I actually start getting lessons. But yeah, I think that was the first um, for real experience.
Right on. That's awesome. And
Yeah,
love at first sight from the sounds of it.
thanks, man.
Right on. So, who are the biggest influences on your work and why?
Ah, wow. Um, as a guitar player, um, I mean, I love all of them. um, I'm not sure if I have my favorite guitar player, but I can name a few at least. I guess Steve Vai is one of my favorites. Joy Satriani for sure. Gary Moore, John Sykes. Um, well, basically, I love all of them, and you can learn from all of them because each one is different. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's one thing I've come to appreciate over the years is that every guitarist really does have their own sound. Even
Exactly.
you guys playing the same guitar and they're going to sound different playing it because it's coming from them.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're young, you try to copy, I guess, to copy the sound and the style. Um, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but at some point you have to overcome this. You have to find your own style and your own tone. You know, and I figured out, after a little bit, I said, okay, I mean, it's nice to be able to play like him, you know, but you have to find your own sound. You have to write your own songs, your own style, and it's very nice. It's very nice journey, all this. And
Yeah,
like we said, it never ends.
totally. And I love that you refer to it
Yeah.
as a journey. I was actually just talking to somebody else earlier today, another artist, and they said the same thing. And it's so true. And you're kind of taking people on that journey with you too as you go along. And yeah, I think you're totally right. At some point, you have to find your own communication and make what you're doing yours and what you're communicating in your own reality. So that's awesome.
Totally.
So,
Yep.
what's the weirdest thing that's ever inspired you?
The weirdest. Hmm. I don't know. Weirdest. Like what weird? Like,
Whatever it is to you, whatever you would consider to be not the norm, not usual, that's inspired you.
I guess the last years, I'm more focused on the songwriting, production stuff. So I guess when I listen something, when I listen to bands, um, might be something different than usual. Then you can listen something and you say, oh, that sounds good. But before that it was like, wow, this guy really shredding, or his tone is amazing. Okay, I mean that's fine, of course, but these days I'm more like, wow, I mean the whole mix is so unique and so awesome, but I wouldn't say something weird. I can't think of something weird, but um my focus is different these days.
That's cool. No problem at all. Well,
you
let
you
me.
you,
Ask
you
you,
can you can say it's more weird for normal people. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's a fair point. That's true.
Yeah.
So how has your art influenced other people?
I hope so. Because I like my music, but um in a band situation, uh, I would say yes, um in a positive way, like, um you play with a band and you interact with people, with other musicians. So it's a good thing to influence other people and to be influenced from from the others. So I think it's something very healthy and
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. That's a great viewpoint to have of like the give and the take of a situation like that is actually really beautiful, when you embrace it. For
exactly.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have any pre-show or pre-studio rituals?
Not rituals, but I try to be focused, like, not get distracted from something, you know, from something else. Um, in a studio, in a studio situation, I just try to be. I want everything to sound great first. As you may know. So that's my first concern. If that's good, then everything will be good after that. Um, no, but yeah, I mean, if it's like a big show, I want to the night before I want to be. I don't go out, or I don't do stuff. Don't stay late at nights. You know, try
Yeah.
to be for the next day.
Yeah, 100%. It's totally professional.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, what risks, if any, have you personally taken for the sake of your music?
My whole life.
Okay, cool.
I mean, imagine, when I was 29, I just moved here in US. I'm from Greece. I grew up there, and you know, it was a big decision because I was playing with famous Greek bands there, the George Gagis and the Troublemakers. Um, we were doing amazing stuff, you know, opening shows for big bands and everything. But Greece is a small country.
Yeah.
Um, it's beautiful, don't take me wrong, but there's no like music industry, like a big music industry. So yeah, I decided to move here, and I got a scholarship from MI in Hollywood,
Hmm.
and I made it through, to stay here in the US, and but it was a lot of effort. I mean, for everything. You sacrifice your whole life, you know.
Yeah. No, that's you. I mean, I mean, I've heard people talking about moving cross country. I can't imagine moving across an ocean. I mean, my goodness, that is a big commitment. And
I
like
mean,
you said,
I know,
children.
it sounds all it sounds so cheesy all the time, to say that, but it's true. It's totally true.
Yeah, it is. And it's also a mark of, an indication of how serious you are. I mean, not that everyone has to do that to show that they're serious about it, but if you're willing to do that, it's probably the right thing that you're doing it, like, and that
Definitely.
you're going after it. So that's huge. So
Definitely.
what's the craziest risk you've ever seen another artist take for their craft?
Divorce. I don't know.
Okay, sure. I mean, divorce can
It's
definitely be a ringer that you get put through. So that's a big risk.
yeah, could be a positive thing.
It no, it can be. That's an interesting answer. You're the first person that's ever brought that up in the risk category, but I could totally see that 100%.
Yeah,
Divorces can destroy a person if they let it. So that's a great answer.
exactly. Yep.
Right on. So what's one thing
So,
about you that would shock everyone to know?
many. I mean, it's not shocking, but many people don't know that I'm a Greek. You know, or people on Facebook. You don't, because I don't post in Greek.
Hmm.
So yeah, many. I guess many people have no idea that I grew up there and I moved here about 13 years old. Sorry, 13 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, no, and that's true. I'll be honest with you. I knew like you had some heritage there, but I didn't realize you were from Greece. So that was even something I didn't realize you had actually been born there and everything. So that is
Yeah.
definitely. I don't come across many Greek people from Greece. You know what I mean? So that is definitely a different thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, man.
yeah, man. So what is the one thing or the one tool you absolutely cannot live without as an artist, and why?
Well, obviously my guitars. I have many,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can't live with my guitars without my guitars. Um, yeah, it's been how many years now? I play since 13,
Mhm.
so many years. Many years.
Well, however many it is, you don't look. The years have been kind. However many of them there are, because you don't look like you're much older than 30, and to me, like you look young. So
Well,
whatever you're doing, it's working.
that would be the answer of your previous question. The stalking. No, I'm not that old, but but I'm not 30. So
Well, you pull 30 off well, so good job, and keep doing whatever you're doing.
thanks, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what has been the most difficult piece of music for you to create, and why?
You mean my music or someone else, like a session?
Anything that answers the question is the most difficult thing for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I have done some difficult, recording sessions. Um, like very complicated music. Um, it was kind of rock, but you had to read you had to read the charts first, because she wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was a little difficult, because rock, it's more like free, let's say. um so yeah, to give you to understand better, it was like theatrical music. So that was a little difficult. I remember I did at least a few sessions. But regarding my music, a few years ago, I did some solo, some instrumental songs, and um, like progressive rock and metal. Um, of course, for me, because it's my music, and it wasn't difficult. But I guess for other people, might seem more complicated and difficult. But it was I really love the process, you know, because it wasn't like the straight rock, you know. It
Totally.
was a little, not too much though, but still, it was a little odd meters, you know.
Yeah. Kind of like a little Dream Theater-ish.
Kind of, yeah. Not so I mean, I love Dream Theater, but not so boring. Let's say, you
Okay,
know.
fine. Fair point. Right
Yeah.
on. Cool. And then, if you were going to write a book about your career up to this point, what would you title it?
I've never thought about it. La- um, Music is my life, maybe,
Okay. I mean, that
or
definitely seems to apply.
yeah, or I can't live without music. I know, again, it sounds so cheesy, but it could be a title.
No, totally. And I mean, hey, if it's truth, it's truth. And it definitely seems like that's the case. So, amen. I love it.
Yeah,
So, I have two more
so
questions. My first one
sure.
is, what are your plans for world domination?
Well, like I said earlier, I have shifted my focus the last few years. So, of course, I still do live shows and all this kind of like playing guitar, but um, recently, I do mixing work,
Hmm.
and I'm very excited about this. So yeah, I mean, this is my main thing, I would say, right now, and I'll try my best the next years to do that.
Right on.
And of course, we're still learning
Yeah.
always. Technology keeps um, getting better and better, and you have to adapt to this. It's not only okay. You learn to mix song. It's way more than that.
It
You
is,
know.
and it's a very deep pit of information there, and it keeps getting deeper because, like you said, the technology changes, and it's gotten incredibly good over the years, actually. So, yeah, never a shortage of things to pick up on.
Yeah.
I'm learning that myself now. I'm actually doing a certification course for Logic right now, and it's insane
Awesome.
what that program can do. Absolutely insane.
Oh yeah. I use Logic too. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Heck
Yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely mind blowing what
Hmm.
Apple put together with that program.
Yep.
All right. Well, I have one question left for you. And just to revisit the introduction to this show, this show not only showcases the best of independent artists, it also explores what inspires them, what drives them, and what they consider their fundamental purpose as an artist to be. So, Jess, what's your truth?
I'm always truth in music, and I try to be honest with music because it shows. If you do something that you don't like, it shows. And I was always honest with music, no matter what I play, no matter what style. Um, I did my best, and I'm constantly doing my best. So yeah, there it is.
Amazing. I love that. No, and it makes total sense. And I think that's a really great ending to the interview. That's a beautiful message, man. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome having you here. Before we do end off, I wanted to give you 60 seconds to plug anything you have coming up if you'd like. 60 seconds of all things Jess Tzimas. Fire away.
Well, like I said earlier, I play with bands right now. Boots Bailey and the Boys here in Arkansas, and we have um we have many shows coming up throughout the year. It's gonna be super fun. You can follow me on social media, Jess Tzimas. It's the same name everywhere. And for more stuff, you can visit my website, jesspjimas.com. And you can find there pretty much everything, music, videos, mixing work, everything is there.
Perfect. That's great, man.
And I want to thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's my pleasure. I mean, and it's so cool doing these interviews, and you're no exception. I learned so much, from talking to you. Like, you're influencing me right now. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. And I've been an admirer of your playing for a long time. I mean, I remember, I think I first discovered you, so to speak, back when you were with Litsoul, because I'm a friend of Rob Chevelle's. So I had seen you in
Nice.
some shows, and you played on Love at War, right? That was you were on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, and I actually helped Rob write one of the songs on that album too. So
Oh,
I've just
nice.
been aware of you since that time, and yeah, I mean, your playing is insane. Like, you're
Thank you.
absolutely phenomenal and
Appreciate
inspired.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Cool,
Thank you,
man. Well,
sir.
thanks so much again for being here, and to everyone
No
who's
problem.
watching. Yeah, absolutely. And this has been the What's Your Truth podcast. Everyone, we'll see you on the next episode. Later.
Yeah, you follow your own rules and you preach them on to me. But you don't think before you act, and you ain't got no business with me. You don't know. Tell me what's your truth? Oh, what's your truth? Now you got